Shabbat Shalom, 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 Shalom Aleichem, Shalom, Shalom. I pray you all are doing well. First, I want to give all praises to God, Toda Abiyah, Lecha, um, Al Chayam. I didn't say that word sometime. I get it mixed up. Achim, that's the word for life. I pray you all been doing well. I know it's been a while since I put anything on here. Just been busy and trying to figure out this computer. It's just lagging, a lot of lagging. So today is Yom Teruah. It's the day of making the noise. We use the shofar to do that, which is made from mostly a ram's horn. Some people might be preferring the silver, according to what I'm hearing. But however you're celebrating your day of trumpets, pray that you have a blessed day blowing up the shofar. So I wanted to just read that passage real quick and then get into some prayers. I think prayers is very significant, very important. I'm still working on Tehillim. I know we're in Tehillim, Pesach Ehad, chapter 1. Still not done it. But it's ready. The material is ready. It's just, as I said, my PC been acting up. So let's go into some reading. I'm going for Bamidbar, which is Numbers, chapter 29, and just going to read verse 1 real quick here. So it says, I see if I can turn my head. I look straight on the screen. Let me try to do it this way. This is better. As you already know, Ivrit is read from right to your left. Okay. You already know how to bring up the Hebrew text by going to your blueletterbible.org, or you could use the Bible Hub, which is what I'm using right now, because I'm able to zoom in so that you can see the words on the screen. So I won't be doing like a breakdown syllables by syllables as I normally would do. Would say this is the u, this is the va, which means and in. You know, you already know when you see the wow at the front of a word, it means and. When you see the bait, it means in with or by. I won't be doing all that stuff. I won't be staying that long here. But just to read it real quick. You also have it in different places as well. So Uva Chodesh, Hashavi'i, Hashavi'i, Be Achad. So in the month of the seventh month, in the first La Chodesh, the first in the first day of the month, right? So off the month. So the La, which is your prefix, which means off or to, right? La Chodesh, Mikra Kodesh. So Kodesh and Chodesh, boy. These two words, when you're saying it, or even if you're hearing somebody speaking and they're saying Chodesh and they're saying Kodesh, it can be very easily confused and mixed up. Okay. So Kodesh, that's the word for holy, right? Or they will say Kadash in more Paleo Hebrew, right? So Kodesh is the word for holy, and Chodesh is the word for month. Okay. Month is Chodesh, and Kodesh is holy. So you should have a holy convocation. Okay, so you're gonna have a holy convocation. Yay, which is the verb which means to be or will be. La call to you, call. So this is call, even though there's a kamatz underneath here, you're gonna say it with an O sound. Okay, because it's a kamatz. I don't remember what they call this. It's been a while. If it's I don't want to say kamasad too far and mix it up, okay? But it's the small kamaf katan, the small Kamatz Katan, which is the Osam, right? So kol, which means all or every, right? Mele Melechet. So all work, avodah, so all several work. Lo, which we know is there negative, which means you shouldn't do whatever it's gonna say, um, which is talking about work here that you shouldn't do. But it usually comes before what it's telling you not to do. So because you have ta'asu, which is usually will do, right? The law is gonna cancel it out and make it be you will not do. Okay. So you will not do any servile work during this day, right? Yom Teruah, like I was saying, Yom Teruah Sameach, so happy day of making a noise, right? Ye lachem, it shall be to you. Okay, so that's where you find that passage if you need it. It's also in Wayikra, chapter 23. Chapter 23 in Wayikra, this is where you find all the feast days that are listed, right? And from verse 3, Wayidaber, this is the Most High's name. We say Yahweh, Wayidaber Yahweh. So Daber coming from Davar, which means word, matter, or things, thing rather. But it's been saying here word, right? The word, right? And the word El Moshe of the word of Yahweh. So it looks like it might be in the construct state. Construct state, when a word is in a construct state, because it has the tere here, so it's in a construct state. And a construct state is used to form a construct chain, which usually have one construct and an absolute, right? And which means you're going to have two nouns put together to form a construct chain. So what it does, it makes it link the other word together, and this is just going to say the word of. So the word of the Most High, El Moshe, to Moshe, Lemor, to say, right? Daver El Bain Yisrael, so to like the male or the sons, right, of Israel, Lemor. Now, as I said, I'll do my best not to turn this channel into a doctrinal channel. I'm making up another channel where we can talk about different stuff. I really just want to stick to the language here and just read and search through certain things. So if you have any question when it comes to Moshe, the Mosai addressing Ben Israel, like we have in Bamidbar 15:38, where people have questions from 35 going down. Okay, but you can message me. We can talk about that on a different channel. So El Bene Yisrael Lemor, to say Chodesh, like we talk about, right? Chodesh is talking about the month. So in the month, Hashivi'i, which we know is the 7th, but Echad, we know Echad means first, right? Or one. And we know the Beit already means in, right? La Chodesh Yeye Lechem Shabbaton. So see, it's a little bit more specific. It's telling you that it's a day of a Sabbath. You should keep it as a Sabbath, right? That's what Shabbaton is. Zikron. So Zikron is like a memorial, right? Coming from the root word Azakar. And it's funny because Zakar, which just the vowels alone are going to be different. Zakar is a word for remember, like remember something, and it's also a word for male. Nikeva is a word for female, and Zachar is a word for male. It's funny how those two words, like one day we could look at them together and see what's the correlation there? What God is trying to tell the men to remember, right? So Zikron, Teruah again, right? The blowing, the making of the noise. Mikra Kodesh, so again, the holy convocation. And then the last verse I'm going to read in this chapter is Kol Melechet, again, so all the work, Avodah, all the servile work, so coming from Eved, which means servant. Lo Ta'asu, again, this would normally mean you shall do, and the law here is canceling out, so you shall not do, right? Wehik Rav 10. So this, when you see words like this, these verbs are just good to help you know what stem it is. And as soon as you start saying wehik, right, you know right away you're getting into the hitpael verb stem, which is a causative verb, which means you're doing the action unto yourself, right? You're causing yourself to do the action, right? Wehik Rav Tem, so you shall offer, right? So, and you shall offer. Ishe, so ish is a word for fire, not ish or isha. Ishe, so that's a word for fire. La Yahweh, to the Most High God, which we know we're not doing any fire unless we're going to do some barbecue and stuff like that. All right, so that's it for your Yom Teruah, and I pray you guys have a wonderful Yom Teruah. I just wanted to get into some prayers now, okay? And I'm going to start with the last one, Kodash, right? Too bad you won't be able to see my mouse. You won't be able to see my mouse point. This one, so I won't be able to walk you through. So this is the Lord's Prayer. This is how you say it in the Paleo Hebrew, right? Starting from the top, the very, very top, where you see Lord's Prayer. And, we're still going to read from the right to your left, right? Abba Nawa, sorry, Slaki. We're going to Lord's Adawan, right? So the word for Lord in Paleo Hebrew is Adawan, and in biblical Hebrew would be Adon, right? And that's why you have Adonai, which means that the nai at the end means my, right? Like if you just say Sefer's book, Sefri would be my book, right? You have Elohim and you have Elohai, would be like my God and stuff like that. So when you put the yod, Hirik yod at the end, it becomes possessive. Just like how if you put the chaf at the end of certain words, it becomes possessive. Your are you, right? Eloheicha is your God. Eloheinu is our God. Stuff like that. So the Adawan, right? So Adon, again, in more modern time, Adawan in more Paleo Hebrew, Palal, which means to pray. And it reads us, and so Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Kadash. So see what I was saying about Abba, right? So Abanawa, like I was saying about Elohim, right? So Abba is father, and then Nawa would be our, right? So Abanawa, our father. Just like I say, Avinu, our Father. Okay. After I read this in the Paleo Hebrew, I will read it more modern Hebrew, and this is the Lord's Prayer, which we find in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 and down. Abanawa, Shabbat Shamayim. Hopefully my mic and everything's working. I didn't do a check. I'm just hopeful everything's working. Abanawa, Shabbat Shamayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh. So in the second line, the first word, that's where we are right now. That's how the Most High name will look in the more ancient Hebrew style fonts. So I'm saying them one word at a time. So we're at the second line, first word. Malakwatka. Thaba'a, Ratazaka, Haya. Now we're moving to the third line. Aisha Ba'arataza. So that's how you say word for earth, earth rather. Okay. Kawa Haya Bashamayim. Okay. So we know the Shamayim is the heaven, and then the bait is the in, right? So Ba Shamayim. Moving on to the next line. Nathan Lanawa. Lacham. So lacham is the word for bread. Kal Yawam. Kal Yawam. Another fun word would be Wasalak Lanawa. That's a fun word. Wasalak Lanawa. Wasalak Lanawa. Kabawat Yanawa. So we're at the next line now. First word. Kawawat Nawa. Kasalak Nawa. Kabawat Yanawa. Wala'a. And now we're at the third to last line. First word. The Bayanawa. Banasanawan. That's the Bayanawa. Then Banasanawan. Abal. Hawashainawa. Mayan. Now we're at the second to last line. First word. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwat. Hamalakwat. Wa ala'a. Wa. Sorry, I'm not saying this properly. Wa ha'ala. Something like that. Wa ha'ala. Yeah. Wa ha'ala. Yeah. I'm not getting another way. Then we have Watha apa arath. That's a mouthful. Watha. Sorry. Wa'atha apa arath. Yeah. Wa'atha apa arath. Wa'atha apa arath. La awamium. La. This is probably the hardest one to say, as simple as it looks. La I. La I walmi. Oh my days. La walmium. Something, so now I can't say it. Oh my days. La I walamium. La I walamium. Okay. Man. Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahawa, Malakwatka, Thaba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathan Lanawa, Lacham, Kalewam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kabawat Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawabia Wala'a, Thubayinawa, Banasanawan, Abal, Hawashayinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwat, Allah, Wata Aparaf, La Awamium, man, and I can only say it that way. Like, once I slow it down and start trying to teach people how to say it, it's just gonna be a mess. Anyway, moving on, we have now. Let me try to move myself out of the way so I can see the words. Or maybe put by myself here at the side. That's probably better. Yep, that's better. Now we have it in the more modern Hebrew. Again, reading from the top right. Okay. Avinu. So that word Abanawa, it'd be pronounced Avinu. Shabbat Shamayim. Yit Kadesh Shemka. So I'm done with the top. We're moving on to the bottom. Tavo Malkutecha Yease Retoneka Ba'aretz Kasher Nasa Vashamayim. So I'm done with line 3. 10 Lanu Hayom Lechem. So see Lacham, Lechem, same bread, right? Chukenu. So I'm done with those 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. I'm on the 5th line now. Uselach Lanu 8 Ashmatenu Okay, we got 3 lines left, or 4, if you count Aman. Ka'asher. So Ka'asher, that should sound very familiar to you because we talk about Asher a lot, right? Which means which are that, right? Ka'asher solechem anachnu la'asher ashmu lanu. So the second last to last line. We'al tevi'enu lidei masa ki'im hatilenu min hara, right? And pretty much the last line before Aman. Ki lecha hamam lecha wehagivura we'atif eret le'olamei olamim Aman. So that's Havinu Shabashamayim Yit Kadesh Shemcha Tavo Malchutecha Ya'aseh Retaneka Ba'aretz Ka'asher Na'asa Vashamayim Ten Lanu Hayom Lechem Ulchenu Usalach Lanu Et Ashmatenu Ka'asher Solechem Anachnu La'asher Ashmu Lanu Va'al Tevi'enu Lidei Masa Ki'im Hatilenu Min Hara Kilecha Hamamlacha Wa'agivura Wa'atif Eret La'olamei Olamim Man, that's a lot of prayer, which you all know in English already. So we're almost done. I'm going to do 3 more. One very popular and another one that is not so popular. So this now is what we call the Shema, right? This is found in Devarim chapter 6, verse 4, which reads, "Hear Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord." So it says in Hebrew, Shema Yisrael. So that purple looking purple word is the Mosai's name. So you saw how it looked in the Paleo Hebrew, and this is how it looks in the modern Hebrew. This is not God. This is not Lord. This is not El Shaddai. This is not it's not Mosa God. This is not what's another one? God Almighty. This is his actual name. Yod He Waw He, so it's Yahweh. Some people might say Yahweh and other versions. Okay. So Shema Yisrael, Yahweh, Eloheinu. So like I was saying, the new N is going to be our, and the Elohe is God. But it's as you can see, it's constructed, or you could say it's inflected, right, to mean our. Okay. Eloheinu, our God. Yahweh Echad is one Yahweh. So Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. So here Israel, the Lord of God is one Lord. And next we have, so that's a prayer you could say in the mornings, right? And here's another prayer you could say in the morning. Let me go with this one here. So this prayer here, you can find this in Bamidbar Numbers chapter 10. Can read from verse 35. Okay. And start again from the top right. Kuma Yahweh, they're in green this time. Wayafutsu Oye Vecha. Wayanusu Meshan Echa Mipanecha. So that's the third line. That was it. That's done. We could say it again. Kuma Yahweh Wayafutsu Oyevecha Wayanusu Me San Echa Mipanecha. Okay. And what are you saying? We could bring it up on the screen. Give me a second here. If I can find it. Let me bring about this screen here. I think I have to remove this first and then put about this up here. Okay, cool. All right. And we're going to Bamidbar Numbers. chapter 10. And we're going to do it in English. So let me go over here. All right. So what you just read was this part here. When the ark, so you didn't read this portion. We're just going to read this portion. You're saying, "Arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered, and let those who hate you flee before you." That's what you just said with the first portion. Okay. So let's go back. Okay. So Kuma Yahweh Oyafutsu Oyevecha Oyanusu Mesan Echa Mepanecha. Okay. And then the second portion. So we usually say this when we're leaving the house, right? When we're returning, we say the second portion. Okay. Shuva Yahweh revolt. So that's the third word. Revolt Alphe Israel. Everybody should know Israel, right? Alphe Israel. Okay. Let's do it again. Shuva Yahweh revolt Alphe Israel. Okay. And what are you saying there? Again, let's try to bring it back up. Right, you're saying verse 36 rather, and you're saying, "Return, O Lord, to the 10,000 thousands of Israel." Okay, so you're telling Most High God to return back onto Israel. So I'm just going to read it straight through. Sorry, I've always been doing that, reading the last portion first, even though I'm not reading what I'm seeing. Ever happened to you? So it goes, Kuma Yahawa Oyafutu Oyevecha Oyanusu Mesanecha Mepanecha. Right? So Kuma Yahawa Oyafutu Oyevecha Oyanusu Mesanecha Mepanecha. And the last portion of it, Shuva Yahweh revolt Alphe Israel. So Shuva Yahweh revolt Alphe Israel. And okay, so I think I got one more, I believe. Yeah, I got one more. Okay. All right. So this is another beautiful prayer. You could say when you wake up, if you wake up and just as you open up your eyes, type of prayer, right? And sometimes you might be like, I want to pray it until I take a shower and clean myself, and then I go pray. I'm kind of like that. That's why I end up finding this prayer, right? Maybe you're not, but some people are like that, right? And what the idea of this prayer is to give thanks without calling on the holy name of the Most High God. Because like I said, I think I said in previous video that the name of the Most High, why some people call him different name, Jehovah, which is the worst one, not a good one. Ahaya, Yahuwah, Yahweh, and so forth and so on. Why is that happening? Is because of what happened with the Mosai's name, where the Mesorites, they made it so that you can't pronounce it because it's so sacred. So if you're a person like me who don't want to just get up and praise God until you cleanse yourself, this is a good prayer where you could pray giving thanks and not have to call his actual holy name. Okay. So that's the sense of the prayer. So you're going to be saying, I give thanks before your presence, O living and eternal King, for returning my soul within me. Great is your faithfulness. And that's what you're saying, right? You're alive. You wake up, you find that you're alive and well, your soul is back in your body, whether they left it or not. And you're just happy that you're alive and well, right? So it goes from top right again, coming down. More day. So let me just take a little drink here. Give me a second. Right. So from the top right, it goes a more day. So that's the first word you're going to say. And as a female, because Hebrew is, it does matter with the language, with the gender, I should say. So if you're a female, you would say moda, right? And if you're a male, you would say more day. That's the only thing that changes in this prayer. Okay. Everything else remains the same. So mode ani. So ani means me. Sorry, ani means I or I am. Okay. Mode ani. So the mode is what you're gonna is a word that's been used as praise or giving thanks. Mode ani lefanecha. So you already know from previous lesson that the ha at the end it means your, right? And the lefanai are um the lefane here would be before your presence or before your face. So lefanecha, before your face. So I give thanks, I give praise before your presence. Melech chai vechayam. So Melech is king, right? We'll talk about that as well. Chai is life, right? And vechayam is eternal, right? So living an eternal king. Even though you have king before, that's just how it is. Living an eternal king. So you know the verb means and, which say where. We would say where in more biblical Hebrew. Ve is more modern Hebrew. But this is more for modern prior. That's why it goes ve kayam as opposed to we kayam. I try my best to separate the modern Hebrew from the biblical Hebrew from the Paleo Hebrew. Okay. If you're doing a Paleo Hebrew script, you should read Paleo Hebrew and Paleo Hebrew script. If you're reading a modern Hebrew script, you should read modern Hebrew and modern Hebrew script. And if you're reading biblical Hebrew script, try to stick it that way. That's what I try my best to do. Shehe Chazarta, right, is for him returning, right? B is that bait again, which means in with or by, and the yud, the Greek yud, like I was talking about before, at the end is just a suffix that makes it me. Okay, so in me. So B, in me. Nishmati. So you have the E again at the end, which is my soul, nefesh, your soul. So for returning my soul in me or within me. Okay. Berav, so I'm at the last portion now. Barav Amuna Teka. So great. So we know Amuna is what they translate as faith, but I keep talking about this word for faith because um Amuna is, if you want to say strong faith, that's what it is. Strong faith. Okay. Something concrete, something you can touch, you can feel. Okay. Um, keep in mind, Hebrew is a concrete language. It's a language that deals with your five senses, things that you can see, feel, and touch. It's not abstract like English. Okay. So Emuna, that's my daughter's name. It's a beautiful word. Amuna Techa. So your faith, right? You're faithful. So great is your faithfulness. Berav Amuna Techa. So Modei Ani Lefanecha Melech Chai Vechayam Shehei Chazarta Benishmati Barav Amuna Techa. So those are some prayers you can say in the morning and in the eventides. Okay. So like I said before, let me see if I had anything else. No, as I said before, Yom Teruah Shameach. Have a beautiful Chag. Until next time, Laitra out. Shalom, shalom. Like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see for future videos. I'm still working on Tehillim, Pesach Echad, but I will post those once I get everything settled down with my computers and so forth. Shalom. Have a blessed Sabbath.